Hi, Sarah.
How you doing?
Not so well. I have this really bad cough and I don't know if I need antibiotics or not.
Well, let me ask you some questions and we'll figure it out. How long have you been sick for?
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Healthy on the Hudson class led by a integrative health professional from our supporting sponsor, Weill Cornell Medicine. This is part of Healthy on the Hudson, which is Hudson River Park fitness series, which is also part of our virtual Summer of Fun. This year, we have a wide range of fitness and wellness videos that have been curated by our presenting sponsor, Lululemon, which are available via our website, hudsonriverpark.org. And we have a live class tonight led by Jackie from Weill Cornell's Integrative Healthcare Center. Jackie, is there anything that participants need for tonight's class?
Sure. If you have a blanket that you'd like to sit on, or you can use a block. If you normally use blocks in your practice, you can get 2 of them. That's about it. Maybe it's so warm out, maybe have some water nearby.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're excited for this class.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here, everyone, and welcome. So tonight we're going to be doing a yin yoga class. It's been a warm day, and I thought something a little more quiet and grounding might help us all with the heat today. So what I'd like to start with, first of all, is if you have, if I do a pose that just doesn't agree with you for whatever reason, you can modify that pose, okay, or skip it altogether. You can always bring yourself back to child's pose. If that's comfortable, or Shavasana. Some of the poses, we'll be doing some poses on all fours, and normally I would have both hands out like this, but I can't do that with my right hand right now. So I might just be up on my knuckles, or I'm gonna modify to forearms, but you can stay up on all fours, flexing your wrist. But if you do have some hand issues like I do, feel free to modify those. I'm here to make this practice comfortable and enjoyable for each of you. So let's get started. Okay, so if you want to support underneath your sits bones, you can do that with either a blanket, as I said, or a block, whatever is more comfortable. And we're just going to start very slowly by just closing our eyes. And what I like to do is just place the hands on the lower belly. And just take some nice, deep cleansing breaths at your own pace. And just let the stress of the day begin to dissolve. And then you can return your hands to your lap. And now just make the breath a bit more deeper. So maybe your collarbones rise as the breath is not only filling your belly, but you're expanding your ribs, raising the collarbone. And then exhale. And we'll do just one more like that. Nice big inhale in, nice full 3-part breath. Filling the entire body with air, and then exhale. Good. And then now you can bring your breath to its normal rhythm and open up your eyes. So first thing we're going to do is just warm up our joints a little bit. So I'd like you to take your shoulders up, and we're going to move them back and around. So you're making a nice full circle here, warming up the shoulder joints. And we'll do 2 more in this direction. Good. And then come back to center. And then we'll reverse. We're going to bring them forward now, up and around. You can involve your whole arm in that so you get a nice range of motion. Good. And one more. And then just relax. Good. So let's take an inhale here. And then as we exhale, let's turn the head all the way to the right. Exhaling, stretching the neck, and just being aware that we're keeping the shoulders down, away from the ears. And we'll come back to center slowly and inhale. And exhale, slowly turning the head to the left now. Again, keeping the shoulders down. And return back to center. Good. Same thing here, except we're going to bring the chin to the chest next time. So inhale and exhale, chin to your chest, releasing any tension from the back of the neck. And inhale, head back up to center. And then just taking the hands behind the head. So we're just going to support the back of the head and also just watching out if you have any neck issues. And we're just going to tilt back a little bit and just bring that chin up to the ceiling. So we just have some control over what our neck is doing so we won't hurt ourselves. And then return the head back down and then release. Good. Let's raise the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then with your left fingertips, just walk those fingertips out a little bit and take a nice stretch. So you want to make sure that that right hip stays down. Okay. And we're really trying to open up the right rib cage here. So once you're in that position, take an inhale again. Exhale, and if you want, you can look up at the hand and keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Good. Inhale, lowering the right hand down and lifting the left arm up. And inhale again when you're ready. Walk those right fingertips out, and we're going to reach on over. Good. And hold. Breathing in and out. Looking up at the hand if you want to, opening up those left ribs. And then coming back down to center. Beautiful. Okay, hope everyone's doing well. Let's take both arms up towards the ceiling, so palms will be facing each other. Good. And give yourself a nice stretch, almost as if you're climbing a rope, reaching up. Good. And you could look up a little bit as well. And then bring those hands down. And then we're going to interlace our hands behind our back. Okay. And take your shoulders up and around once, just like you did in the beginning. So you're going to really open up the pec muscles and the heart. And now just lift your hands as high as you can. If you can keep your palms together as you do this, that's great. If they're a little apart, that's okay too. And just stretching in the opposite direction. Nice. That's it. And then release those arms. And we can take whatever we're sitting on, if you are, remove that from underneath you. And now we're going to come up to all fours. So I'm just going to move my mat a little bit so you could see me a little bit better. So you've got a better angle. Okay, so as I said before, you can certainly come down, flex both wrists. Okay, you can come up to knuckles if you have some wrist issues, or you can even come down to your forearms, okay, if that's better for you. I'm just going to pick knuckles for now. And make sure that your shoulders are aligned over your wrists and that your hips are falling over your knees, okay? And your legs are about hip width apart. We're going to start with some cat-cows. Okay, so we'll begin with a exhale, and as you exhale, you're going to bring your chin to your chest. And we're going to round up that thoracic spine, giving a nice stretch. Good. And now as we drop the belly down towards the ground, we're going to inhale as we lift in the opposite direction. So again, I'm going to just change the angle. Here we go. So you can watch the alignment. So we're going to take an exhale and an inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Good. So let's do about 4 or 5 more of those. And we just want to really warm up the back. And think about the movement. You're combining the movement with the breath. And what I really like to do during this class is to really connect to the breath. So many times during the day when we're stressed, we don't connect to our breath, or we breathe very shallowly. Good, and just one more, and then we're going to come back to a neutral spine. Good. From here, we're going to open up our legs a little wider, probably the width of the mat, okay, and bring the feet in towards each other, and we're just going to come sit back. We're going to take a wider child's pose. Sometimes we can get a little bit more of a hip opener when we do this, and it's sometimes more comfortable. Another option, okay, as we take our child's pose, if coming down to the ground is not comfortable for you, you can always take your block and put it in this position and rest your forehead on it. Or you can take it in the lower position as well and rest your forehead on it. So that's an option. If you don't have a block, you can use a blanket. So I'm just going to come to the forearms first, and we'll all start together in forearms. Again, shoulder over your wrist. And then very slowly, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to walk the hands out. And I'm going to just sit here in this wide child's pose, putting my forehead on the mat. Again, you could do it on a block. We want to try to keep our hips down as best you can. Good. We're just going to stay here for about 3 breaths. So while you're here, as you inhale, try to see if you can fill the air into the lower back. Imagine that lower back getting wider as you inhale and exhale. So you're trying to fill the air in all different spaces of the body. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can walk yourself back. And then we're going to come to sit on our side and then extend our legs. Good. Okay. There we go. So we're just going to sit up nice and tall and just take the fleshy part away from your sits bones. Okay, so you're just right on those bones. And try to keep your spine nice and tall, okay? And we're gonna do some pointing with our toes and flexing, okay? Easy point and flex, and point and flex, good. And point and flex, point and flex, good. And then let's turn that out so the feet are in a little V, and we're gonna point and flex again in this position. So we're warming up those ankle joints. Good, and then we can do some circles and then circle the other way. Great, so let's warm up the hips a little bit. What I like to do is I'm gonna take my right foot, okay, into my left hand. And then I'm gonna take my right hand underneath my right knee. Now, this might be enough of a stretch for some of you. Some of you may wanna take that foot into your elbow, okay, and then hug that leg into your chest. So either position is fine, whatever works for you. And then we're just gonna rock, okay, just like you're rocking a little baby. So we're rocking this right hip open. Good. Ah, that feels good after sitting all day. Nice. Good, and then just gently release. And let's switch sides. So let's take the left leg. Again, you choose whether you want it into your hand or into the crook of your right elbow. Taking the left hand around that left leg and trying not to lose that posture. Still sitting up nice and tall and rocking that left hip open. Good. Keep breathing. And then we're going to release that leg. Good job. Good. And just shake those legs out. Very nice. Okay, let's come up now into a standing position. And we're going to do a very, very light kind of flow. So I'm just going to bring the laptop up on the table there so you'll be able to see me. Okay, gotta move it back a little bit. This is the world of virtual. Okay. I think that's better. Alrighty. So for our first standing pose, we're just gonna take a Tadasana pose. I'm gonna tilt this down a little bit so you can see my feet a bit better. There we go. Now we're in business. Okay. So we want parallel feet. And again, we're gonna roll those shoulders, open the arms, and then have our palms open, facing away from you. And just take a little peek down at your feet, okay? Really make sure all of those toes have good contact with the mat under you, okay? And make sure that you're not rolling your feet in or out. And what I always try to tell my students is to keep all four corners of your feet in contact with the ground. This will remind you not to roll out. So from Tadasana, we're going to take a nice big inhale up. Good. Take a nice look up at those hands. And then as we exhale, we're just going to hinge just this far, okay? And just place your hands on the hips. Just that much. So we're sort of in a standing tabletop position. Okay, and then we're going to continue downward and just release. So as you're releasing down there, you can make a little basket with your arms if you want. Just let the weight of the body bring you forward. And again, if you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Okay, you don't want to hurt your lower back, so that's okay. And just hang. And then let the arms drop. Good, and now slowly roll up and pull in that belly as you roll up, okay? So the back isn't doing all the work. And then come on up. Good, okay. So let's just, I'm gonna add on to that. So in Tadasana, we're gonna inhale up. Good, we're gonna exhale. This time we're gonna come all the way down. Hang there. Good, and now bend both knees. And from here, let's see if we can come up into a little bit of an easy chair. Okay, so maybe feeling a little more of a stretch in the calves this time. And if the shoulders start to feel like they're pulling, maybe make cactus arms instead. Good. And then press your heels into the floor and then come on up. Good. And adding on again, so we're going to inhale one more time. Exhale, come on down. Good. Bending both knees. And now we're going to walk the hands out and the feet back into your first downward dog. Now again, you can modify this on your forearms or knuckles. Okay, I'm going to go for my forearms now. You could go full out. Okay, so you got 3 different choices. Okay, and now while you're in downward dog, lift the right leg up, and we're just going to roll the ankle around. So I'm going to take that right leg up and just roll. And lower that leg. Now we're going to take the left leg up and roll the ankle. And bring it down. Good, both knees to the floor, and then sit back in a child's pose. Come back to all fours or forearms. Come back up into downward dog. Nice. And then walk your hands towards your feet and round on up. Taking your time. Good. Okay. So I think I'm flowing a little bit out here. I'm outside. It's really hot. But it feels good, right? So let's just keep adding on. So we're going to do a full sun salutation. So we're going to inhale. We're going to exhale. Come on down. Bend those knees. And then walk the feet back into your downward dog. Good. And from your downward dog, see if you can come into a plank. So downward dog into plank, either on your forearms or from your hands. And we're just going to hold that plank. And then let the knees drop to the floor. And then we're going to end up in Sphinx pose. There we go. Take a nice deep inhale here. And exhale. Curl your toes under again. Come into your child's pose. Good. And then come up to all fours and back up to downward dog. Good. And then knees down and have a seat. Take a breath. How's everyone doing so far? Hopefully you're warming up. Okay, so let's come once again to a standing position. And we're gonna do a little hip movement here. I find that in humid weather, I get kind of congested almost in my hips, kind of achy. I don't know what that's about, but maybe something that has to do with the humidity. So let's just make some nice hip circles. So keep your knees slightly bent for this. Good. And reverse it, go the other way. Good. And then from here, we're gonna widen the feet, turn them out, okay? So maybe just my heels are on the mat. And we're gonna take a nice little goddess squat here. Okay, so you can come down as deep as you can, but you don't wanna do like a squat, like if you were doing a squat at the gym, where the tush is gonna stick out. We wanna have that pelvis right under, okay? So we wanna watch our alignment here, so we're not straining our low back. And we're gonna make our legs do the work. So here we are, and let's just bring palms in front of the chest. And just breathing in and out and hold that. Good, each time you exhale, see if you can maybe go a little lower. Good. And hold. I know. And then pressing through the heels, slowly come back up. Very nice. Okay, and you can lower the hands down. Keeping the feet, same amount of width, but now we're gonna make the feet parallel so they're not turned out any longer. We'll do a little bit of a rotation here. So I'm gonna take the arms out to the side, and I'm going to place my right hand down to the center of the mat as I look up towards my left. Now, some of you maybe just want to put your hand here, okay, on your thigh. You don't have to bring it all the way down to the mat. This is an option. If you're feeling comfortable enough to do that, bring it down, okay, and then take a look up. And that rotation is happening right here on those left ribs. When we first warmed up, remember? And we're just gonna look up. Good, and hold that. and then return back up. And we're going to take another inhale. And as we exhale, this time we're going to take the left hand down. Again, here is okay. Or you can take it all the way down and look up at that right hand. Try not to lean back. Have the weight in the center of your foot. And then engage those abdominals on the way up. And then lower the hands. Very nice. I'm just going to do a little time check here. Oh, we're good. I'm happy about that. Okay, so continuing with some more opening up of the hips, I'm going to come back down to the ground again. All right, sorry, I just lost my screen there for a second. There we go. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just can't find me on the screen here, but that's okay.
Don't worry, Jackie, we can see you.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, there it goes. I'm up on the corner. That's fine. So a nice hip opener, okay, is a position called frog, a pose called frog. Okay. I'm just going to move this mat so you can see a little better. Okay, so we're going to go into that wide child's pose that we did in the beginning. So nice and wide through here. And we're just going to come down to the forearms, okay? And the knees are pretty wide, or as wide as you can get them. Now, for some people, this just might be like, this is enough, thank you. I don't need any more. And if that's the case, just hold this, okay? For those of you that feel that your hips are a little bit more open tonight, you're gonna do this one leg at a time, okay? You're gonna take one leg out, okay? And then the other. And now you're gonna walk forward a little bit and just place your head down. You could also use that block and put it underneath your forehead, or just one hand on top of the other. Oh, I feel that. And then to come out of this, come to your forearms first, work one leg at a time. So I'm gonna take my left leg and just bring it in, and then my right, and then slowly come back up to a seated position. That's a really good hip opener. I like that one. Another nice hip opener is we can lie down on our mats, and we're going to cross the right leg over the left. So we're making like the number 4. Okay. So here we are. And I'm going to take both hands underneath my left leg, and I'm going to pull in. So I'm going to get a stretch right in that right hip. Good. Now, if you want a little bit more of a stretch, what you would do is just tilt over to the left side slightly, and that will increase that. And then let's release, come out of that, and take the left leg over the right, hands behind the right thigh, and we're going to pull in and take a little tilt now to the right if you want to, and hold that there. And come back to center. Nice. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and lie down and just open up the hips this way. There we go. So just relaxing, and you can place your hands on your hips if you like. Good. And just take some breaths. And now gently close the legs. And let's cross the right leg over the left. and bring the hands out into a T position. And gently let the legs fall to the right side. And then your head can turn to the left. And then reaching up, switching sides now, crossing the left over the right, and slowly letting the legs fall to the left as you look towards the right this time, and hold. And then coming back to center. Good. Let's hug our knees into our chest. And then we're just going to do a little bit of spinal rolling up until we come up to that seated position. Great. I know you're all doing well. I can't see you all, but I know you're doing well. Okay, let's extend both legs out in front of us. And we're going to do a little forward bend. So let's take the left foot against the inside, okay, of our right thigh. So if it can't reach that high, you can just lower it and put it on your against your lower leg. That's fine too. Okay. And again, finding those sits bones and taking a nice inhale, lifting up, keeping a nice tall spine, flexing this right foot. So you want to keep that leg active. Inhale, and we're slowly going to exhale just this far where our hands come onto the mat. Just that much. So I want you to maintain a nice long spine here. Don't want you to collapse. Just feel what it's like to be long in that spine as you're inhaling and exhaling, creating space. I imagine all that air going between each of my vertebrae, creating length and space. And then keep maintaining that nice long spine. Just reach out a little bit more with your hands if that feels comfortable. If that doesn't, stay where you were. And then take a deep inhale. And now we're going to round. Okay, now we can let the upper back round and just reach forward, letting your head go. So if you want to grab onto your foot, you can. If you want to just keep your hands here, you can. Sometimes I just like to keep my hands here because when I grab for the foot, then my shoulders kind of hunch up. So I'm really wanting to create space in my body. And what I'm stretching is the back of that right leg right now. And then as you come up, slowly use your hands to push yourself back up. Nice. Okay, let's switch sides. We're going to extend the left leg, right foot. Pick whichever place you want to put that right foot against, your thigh, your lower leg. Find those sits bones. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Keep this left foot active. And again, exhale. We're just coming to that halfway place first. Feeling a nice length in the spine, feeling a stretch down this left leg. And just hold that. Breathe in and out. Good. And then maybe walk the hands another inch or two if that's comfortable. And then when you're ready, round down into the pose, releasing. And then slowly walk the hands back. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to turn around. We're just going to do a little counter move to that. So I'd like you to take your block, okay? And this one, I don't call it that, but it's called waterfall. And it's sort of a very, very modified shoulder stand. And this actually feels great. So I want to share it with you. So you're going to take the block, okay, and you're going to place it kind of like here, okay, at that low back area. So I would recommend either keeping it low or this high. So either this way or this way. I wouldn't do it super tall because that might be just a little too much. Okay, so pick whichever way. I'm going to go the medium, the second height here. Get it placed under there. Feet are on the floor. Get yourself grounded. Your hands are down. And we're just going to take those legs up. And then you might find that you need to adjust the block a little. Find that place. And then just hold those legs there. And you can take the arms out a little bit if that helps. And breathe. This is a nice, relaxing one to do, I find. I like any positions, inverted positions, that can help push the blood out of the legs back into the heart. Also gives the legs a nice rest, a well-deserved rest. And then just for fun, let's bring the soles of the feet together and think about opening up those hips again. Bring those legs back up. And then gently bring one leg down, then the other. Press up a little bit and just slide that block from under you. Good. So after that, let's bring the feet a little wider, okay? So my feet are turned out slightly, and I'm just gonna take a bridge and just stretch up in this wider position. Again, focusing on the hip. And then slowly roll down and relax. Good. Great. So from this place, going forward, what I'd like to do now is take you through a relaxing Shavasana. So do whatever you need to set yourself up for that, to be comfortable. Sometimes I like to take blankets and I like to put them under my knees. I find that when I have the support of the bolster or blanket underneath my knees, that my back, my lower back doesn't like do that archy thing, you know, and then it gets uncomfortable. So this helps me keep my tailbone down, and I find it less stressful on the back. You could also, if you don't have a blanket nearby, you could use 2 blocks, okay? Maybe not as comfortable, but if that's all you got and you want to try it, that's fine too. And anything else that you use for Shavasana, you might have an eye pillow nearby. If you have even some relaxing music that you want to like flip on your iPhone right now, feel free to do that. This is for you now to make you feel comfortable. So I'm going to sit up, but you're not. So I'm going to have you lie down and get yourself into that comfortable position. Good. Okay. And what I always like to do first in Shavasana is a little bit of a body scan, just to see where you might be holding some tension. So closing your eyes, we're going to start with our at the top of the head. So just really work on letting any tension in your head, outside or inside, try to let that begin to melt away. Think of relaxing your forehead, the muscles of the brows and the eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. Sometimes our jaw gets really tight, so you can even open and close your mouth a few times. Good. And feel your head, the back of your head on your mat. If you want, you can shift a little bit side to side and find center for your head. And then let that flow of relaxation continue down into the back of the neck and the throat as well, the front of the neck. Just checking in with each body part. Oh, I'm tensing this. Maybe I didn't know that. Working at your pace, doing your best to let it go. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then let that flow of relaxation flow down both arms, all the way down into your wrists, palms, tops of the hands, and you can even wiggle your fingertips if you want to. And just let the arms feel nice and heavy on the mat. And bringing your awareness now to the muscles of the chest. Sometimes our chest muscles get so tight from sitting at a desk all day, we're hunched forward on our computers. So let that open. Let that open. I always call this my armor up here. So I'm going to drop my armor right now and let the heart shine through a little bit. And then letting the muscles in the upper back release. The middle of the back. Coming around into your ribs. And then into your whole abdominal area. Let your belly be soft. Think of a little baby or a little puppy or kitten when they're breathing, that their belly just rises and falls. They don't care. They haven't learned yet how to hold in their belly. So just let that go. And then continue that spaciousness now into your pelvic area, into your hips, and all the muscles of the lower back. Your buttocks. Checking in with the front and back of your thighs, the front and back of your knees, your lower legs, your ankles, the tops of your feet and the bottoms of your feet. And if you want, you could even wiggle your toes. And then just scan very quickly. Is there any place where I still feel like I might have a little bit of tension going on? And if that's the case, I want you to take a deep inhale and just imagine that breath, that oxygen coming into that body part. And as you exhale a little bit more of that tension. And that body part gets to relax just a little bit more than it did a second ago. Now I want you to just follow your breath, your natural inhalation and exhalation. You don't have to go for anything specific. Just following that breath. Think of your breath as an anchor. You can also use your body against the ground as an anchor, feeling that contact with the mat that's supported by the earth that's under all of us. So one thing we've all got in common, the earth is under all of us. And as a thought comes up, because a thought will, because that's just how our brains work, acknowledge the thought, know that it's there, and then let it go. And go back to your anchor, your breath, your body. You might have to do this a few times, many times, or no times, and that's great. but it's not perfect. And this is why we practice, one of the reasons. And I'm just going to be silent now for a couple of minutes and let you enjoy your practice. And then very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take any kind of stretch, maybe raising your arms over your head. And then very gently and very kindly to yourself, roll on over onto your side and just remain there. I'll tell you when to get up. Just enjoy that nice little snuggle. This is always my favorite time coming out of Shavasana because it reminds me I've taken the time just to be nice to myself today, you know? Just be kind to yourself. And then very slowly come back up to a seated position. Again, if you were using a cushion or a block under your hips, do that. And as our class comes to a close now, we're going to go out on one nice Om. And it was a pleasure practicing with you tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. So we'll inhale now for Om. And bringing the palms in front of the heart. Namaste, everyone. Have a nice night.